All right, let's go to the Ashanti region. I mean, since yesterday, the fire was one of the biggest stories that occurred yesterday, at least for us as a country. And our colleague Hafiz Tijani is standing by this morning to tell us exactly, wow, I could see so many people at the top there looking down.
Is it even safe?
Is it even safe? That's the question. Hafiz, good morning.
Hello. So before you even said good morning, I heard an explosion from one of the shops.
Wow.
That continued to burn. And this is where you have a number of shops, this building housing a number of shops and warehouses used in the storage of some inflammable material. So behind me you can see fire officers looking so exhausted on their faces. They worked overnight trying to ensure that the fire doesn't spread to other areas of this market. And it was this particular building that posed a huge challenge for the firefighters yesterday, because they had a daunting task in trying to bring the situation here under control. The issue was about access, but even before the evening, there was these excavators that were brought in, and there's this just underneath the footbridge. You have a wall. That wall was broken. That was posing as a challenge, a big challenge for the firefighting efforts. But the excavation was done, and that wall was demolished, and they had to clear off the debris. See the metal container shops that were burnt and has been down to rubble, and that alone was blocking the way of the fire engines from entering to access the targeted areas where the fire continued to consume. So if you look at the down floor of this building, you are seeing that the some remnants or pockets of fire are still burning here due to some of the materials that are still there. And if you look at the second floor of this building, there's another shop here that has been burning. So since yesterday, before we left here at about 10 p.m., it was still burning, and that shop in particular was still burning. Some of the shops have not been able to open. The shops that you see opened are those that some of the owners came around in the morning in the heat of the incident to open the place, trying to salvage their belongings from the areas. But the fire, the intensity of the fire did not allow them, most of them, to salvage anything. And those who even came later on, they were not able to even go close to the shops because of the intensity of the fire for safety reasons. So even with this shop I'm showing you now, which has the fire in there,
yeah,
that one was not open, but it's the metal gates or the metal door of that shop had collapsed or caved in because of the intensity
of the fire.
The heat. Yes, the heat. So you can imagine what has happened. And with the top floor of this building, we are told is used as warehouses for the storage of some of the products sold by the wholesalers here, who also retail some of these products to the traders here. So let me show you pictures of also some of the traders who are here. This woman in Max was just in tears, and it's not so easy. It's so devastating and so traumatizing. They are coming this morning to at least count their losses. And I'm just over hearing the conversation there. They are talking about some of the products that are there. So one of the shops, they store mosquito insecticides or insecticides in there. So you can imagine the kind of combustibles there. It's not so easy. She has been looking at the shop, and I can understand what is going through her mind. Let me try and then engage her. Madam, good morning.
Good morning.
Edikan, me ma shedding why could say. Pacho, be catch us ejano utini se o shop ha ena eden any oton wa ha say.
E tom paboa sneakers. Me bra so yes store so na to so to e fresh na.
Me ne oba bread na.
Ye te ya ne sa no pa na eja eda ha say e ba ya ye ntimi. Amfa bibia wa ha ye no me nyina ye japade nyina hye. E bibia hye ye nya ho hye.
Say no city ejano.
Ye te ya de say jada ha hye. Ti ye rashe say ye ba behwe. Say nyame be ye adoma me yetimi aya. Ba ye ba ne jani nru ha say. Tim sa ye ba ba ti ntimi nrem. Ani sa no pay ye say ye ba behwe a ye bedu ha say aka ye nyina ma ni nyina hye. Ame no ma nyina hye ye source ye tu. Ye ntimi amfa hwe wa ha say.
Nyama na ewom no na bebe sen.
No man dear. Intimi one because ye call so buy cry no achi Thursday ye I cry advert say de any promote adwuma no ti no ma egumu de e billions of cedis e de gumu a I say ahwere ye no source no so cry emienu intimi hu sika edoso ya hwere de yesra maboafo muti ye ka mema boa ye ne ya mobo
na o mampani ba ha no na o say nadmufo ombe somwase na on chief of staff nso be kasa mo leaders no muni omo aye meeting e dey na mo kan kire mo
say for now dey ye dey nyanti bibia mfiri omo ho ti bi enenti na yaba na ye behwe dey na besie ye te se mampani aba enti ene ne ye ba ne aba meeting ne ehu dey omo ne ye be abeka
na sese amo ye den
oh ye drew her ni enti no leaders ni bi ewuwo mu no fe ni ye be meet wo mo na ye hia ne ehu dey ebe ye
ndi ni nyina esen
a free no make collection.
That's it. So that's Madam Efiri. She has been recounting how she heard about the fire. She heard about the fire, but before she got here, she saw that her shop was part of the shops that have been burnt. And she says 3 days ago, they had to stock their shop from their suppliers. And then just for this incident to happen, I asked her about how much she has lost. She says because of the number or the quantity of the products she has in that shop, she's talking about millions of Ghana cedis in there, and she is so devastated, so traumatized about the incident. But she's just facing her shop, just watching the pockets of fire still in the shop. So I asked her about what the leadership of this market enclave or section of the market have been telling them. She says that they are yet to hear from the leaders because yesterday they got wind of the president's coming here to give some assurances, and they are yet to contact their leaders, so they will know what is in store for them, whether they are going to be getting help from NADMO, whether they are going to be getting help from the government and other philanthropies. But she has also used our medium to also appeal for help for people who can come to her aid. And so if you look at this area, these are most of the victims, most of them coming in this morning. So because of the access and because of the intensity of the fire, at the peak of the incident yesterday, most of the traders could not even come close to this area. Even if they wanted to come, they were not going to be allowed by the security services here and the other emergency service providers because of the nature of the fire. There was an issue of safety that was prioritized by the security agencies, although they were working to bring the situation under control, but they were also careful or cautious about the safety of the people who were coming here. So this morning they are having the opportunity firsthand to look at the extent of damage, to be able to quantify what has been lost and to think of even the way forward. But in the night, there was a rigorous work here. If you see how this place has been cleared in terms of the container shops that have been burnt, if you see how the excavation was done, there were 2 excavators actually, and the regional minister himself, Dr. Frank Amwakohene, was here with the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Director and other some assembly members within the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly who had come here to at least help the firefighters to be able to control the situation. I have one other gentleman here to speak to, who he is also one of the victims, who has also come here to at least assess the situation a day after the fire ravaged this place. You are welcome to ChannelOne News.
Thank you, sir.
Your name?
I responsible by the name Wachiche Stanley.
You work here?
Yeah, I work here.
What do you do?
We sell sneakers. So we always go to Togo and we bring out the goods. So we just went to Togo last week. I think Wednesday or Tuesday. So the store was being stored with a lot of goods and was filled. So suddenly yesterday, we can say we slept rich, but wake up poor. When we came, they said there have been a fire.
Wow, I like that. Can you repeat that?
I said we can say we slept rich, but wake up poor. We couldn't even take even a single pair of a sneaker here, because the way that the fire was coming. And there was one man who also sells bullets here. So that's even explore the fire more. So we couldn't take anything here. So everything has been destroyed. We couldn't even take a single pair of a sneaker. And we also sell waters for other sellers to come and purchase it and go and sell it.
On wholesale basis?
Yeah, on wholesale basis. So we're having...
Bottled or sachet?
We sell both bottled waters, sachet waters and drinks. So we are having some food also here with a big container in front of our store. And our store is the store number 27. So we were also having a fridge here. The fridge also has been collapsed. It has also been destroyed alongside with the sneaker store. So,
are you able to tell me these shops, what they sell here? What is that particular thing people come to do here? What do they sell here? So let's start from the ground floor. What do they sell here, these shops?
The ground floor, I can see at the end, there is one man who sells costumes and perfumes, followed by a man who sells lining, threads, something that is about like sewing. So threads and lining.
So materials
materials. Alongside with a man who sells panties, boxers, singlets, shirts and tops, like something like boutique, but it's not that much. And you also come to a store who also sells the same thing, boxers, singlets and all those stuff. And you come to a shop who sells diaries, books, exercise books, notebooks, and a lot of yes. And you followed by a shop who sells air fresheners and liquid soap and all those stuffs. And you followed by us, we sell the sneakers, and a mom who sells paste and toothbrushes. Yeah.
So let's look at the first floor.
The first floor is contains jerseys and it's only jerseys and footballs. Alongside with the man who sells bullets, it's only jerseys and football boots, something about football. Yeah.
How about the last floor?
The last floor contains of those down, they are wholesales. So those down, as for us, we sell sneakers. On the top there, we have a wholesale store there. On the top there is
warehouse.
Warehouse. Yeah, that's the wholesale store where we bring the goods. So as for the last floor, it's continually warehouses or wholesale for the shops at the down. So that's what's there.
Okay, so you mentioned about someone who sells bullets and all that. So will you say that was why we're seeing the explosion and the blast?
And the blast. And the blast too was like the footballs, those who sell the footballs. Yeah, it was blasting, and alongside the man who sells the bullets.
And because we have refrigerators there, the gas and all that, and also you mentioned you sell drinks too. You know, sometimes some of these drinks. So let's look at your shop. How much will you say you have lost?
How much will I say? Like the money?
Yes, in terms of quantifying.
In an expenditure, you can say we have lost about until like 2.3, 2.4 billion. Because you just bring a goose. You just take a goose about 1.8 billion. We also having goods there before the new ones were coming. Alongside the new ones were coming. So we can say we have a lot of maybe 2.3 billion goods there.
So this morning, what have you come to do?
So we just come to, like yesterday when it happened, we weren't here. We come to shop at around 8 to 3 a.m. 8 to 9 a.m. That's when we come to store. So when we came, the fire was there. So when President Mahama came, he instructed the soldiers not to allow anyone to enter. So we decided to stay outside. So this morning we came to realize if it has been destroyed or collapsed, or we just come to realize because we heard that there are some stores that the fire didn't affect them. Yeah, we have some stores, so we just came to realize if our store is part of the stores that the fire didn't affect them, so that we can bring out the goods and take it home.
But this thing you mentioned about some of the stores, people came to try to remove their things. We're not aware at the early stages of the incident. You couldn't come to take anything.
No, and no one. Those who were able to bring out their goods, they also stole it. The thieves also stole it. So we couldn't, we didn't hear it early. And there was only one man here who saw the fire, so he couldn't do anything. But what he does is that he destroyed all of the meters here, so that maybe the fire can't reach here. So it's fine. It was difficult for the fire to reach here. And then sometimes we blame the fire service people because we realized that the Hello FM building, it belongs to Despite. So all the 5 tenders who came were at the Despite building, because Despite is like, we know that Despite is like...
Okay, I'll not let you tread or toe that line. Maybe you can't say that. We don't have any evidence. But let's look at this place. The issue about the fire service. They had issues. They had issues with the They had issues with the access. They had issues with, so that's it. We are just experiencing some disruptions there from the traders who are not happy about what has happened, who are not happy about the access, and they are just talking about what has happened. They said that if the fire service were here, they would have been able to prevent the fire. They are laying the blame at the doorstep of the fire service. So they were just disrupting our interview here. But we're still trying. Most of the traders are still coming here to try and then count their losses. Like you heard the gentleman who says that he would describe the incident as sleeping rich and waking up poor.
Yeah.
And that is what you find here. People say. So here the traders are just not happy about what they. Some of them are crying. Others are just issuing all kind of words and all that, and laying the blame on the doorstep of the fire service. Yes or no?
Yes. I was wondering what the woman who's throwing her hands about is aggrieved about. I'm assuming she's one of the owners of the shops.
Yes, exactly.
From the building that has burned
exactly.
down.
She's one of the. Yes. Most of the people you see here are shop owners.
Yes.
Most of the people you see here, they are shop owners.
Right.
Yes, they are shop owners. You can see how some of them are crying and all that.
And
most
others
of them are shop owners.
angry.
Yes.
Hafiz, I see pockets of fire. that are still, burning under the building, and the fire service personnel, I assume, are very exhausted. Are they waiting for another tender to come in to exhaust
yes,
those fires?
even now we are seeing another tender that has come here, and they are now trying to extend the hose, the water hose from where the tender is beneath the footbridge, and they are bringing it to the where this fire is happening, so that they can at least deal with the fire and ensure that nothing happens again.
Will the fire service personnel speak to you? Do you think they'll speak to you?
Well, they will not be. Well, they will not be in the
only
position
their
to
PRO.
speak.
Okay.
So, yes, all the PROs and the commanders. And yesterday we had the opportunity to speak to some of them, and then you can see the police also. They are trying to maintain order. They are here. They've been here yesterday. Some police officers were here throughout the night when we were here. Some of the other security service personnel, talk of the Ghana Immigration Service, talk of the Ghana Prison Service, they were also here, at least to also help in the firefighting efforts.
Hafiz, we understand there were some people who were arrested for stealing, but aside that, were there any injuries or any reported hurts or deaths in this fire?
Yes, so even when the fire was getting so intense, we had the ambulance, the National Ambulance Service, also deploying their people, some paramedics here, and they had brought in like 2 of the ambulances from the Konfanochi station to come and help. They came to help, and we spoke to the regional director or the regional manager of the National Ambulance. He spoke about the kind of injuries. 9 people they attended to. 3 of them were fire officers. They were sent to the Menchia and then the Konfanochi teaching hospitals, and some of them were treated and discharged. But he says, as of 3 p.m. when we contacted him, he told us that the conditions of these people were responding to treatments.
Okay, they were stable.
And that most of them, they didn't have any serious injuries. It was just minor injuries. And people also suffered attacks, panic attacks, and resulting into the collapse and all that.
Hello, Hafiz. I saw a video, a trending video.
Yes, Mr. Duncan.
Yes, I'm saying we've seen a trending video from last night, actually, involving the Ashanti Regional Minister, who was seen to be berating some fire officers, scolding them for not having enough waters and not telling him the truth. I don't know if you've seen the video, and if you're able to speak to it for
so
us.
Yesterday when we were there. Yes. Okay, so yesterday when we were there, the regional minister was trying to coordinate the affairs here. He was leading, contacting the fire officers to try and then, so because this building was giving them a very tough time, the minister wanted them to be more active in getting this done. But with the water situation, most of the fire hydrants within the central business district, people have built on them. People have trespassed on some of these water hydrants, and it is fire hydrant, and it's not easy for the fire service to locate some of them, and that has always been the challenge. Right. So usually they will go outside Adum to bring in the water. So what they do is that when the fire tender is out of water, they go outside Adum to bring water or to refill and then come back. And imagine the time and the distance and the delays on the way. So that resulted in the anger sort of you saw the regional minister express. He wanted the fire officers to be very quick in trying to resolve this issue. But the fire officers were also doing their part.
Of course.
Though there are other challenges that will hinder their work. And yesterday we saw the tankers from the drip equipment that were also used to supply water to the Ghana National Fire Service. So you realize the kind of challenge they face. So they have to also rely, they also rely on the drip machine and even the water cannon from the front police unit of the Ghana Police Service also came in to help. In the evening, saw that the water cannon was in. The water cannon was also in too. And even with the water, and sometimes the water gets off. Sometimes the water gets off, and yes, they also have to also go and then refill.
Hafiz, I see a crowd forming on the bridge. Did the fire affect the integrity of the bridge? Is it safe for them to be standing on the bridge looking down on the destruction?
Yeah, so even before the fire got to the area of the bridge, the fire officers had tried to manage the situation, and it didn't get to the bridge. The bridge is up there, and where the fire happened is down. So it's not so easy for the fire to affect the integrity of the bridge. So we are seeing some officers from NADMO were told yesterday that they were going to do some assessment, and the president even mentioned it when he visited here, that they were going to do some assessment and then at least know, as part of the investigations, to know what has caused the fire, and then to even give some support to these affected traders.
I wonder if these traders have insurance. Anytime a fire happens, we preach getting insurance to insure your shop and your goods. If you could maybe speak to one of them and find out if they have insurance.
Well, why are you trying to find one of them, Hafiz? Which is actually a very important question, right? Because, but Hafiz, talk to us. The very first lady you spoke to, right? In her narration of events, she mentioned to you that, when I listened to her closely, she said that as of the time she heard of the fire, her store hadn't been affected. Just create the picture for us. How devastating has the fire been from the time it started up until this morning? And for the first respondents who got on site, I'm referring to the fire service, the police, do you get a sense that they were overwhelmed, right, by the intensity of the fire so much that there wasn't much they could do? Are you able to create that picture for us?
Okay, so if you look at the fire, it started from one of the buildings here. So this particular building, it started from this particular building, which the camera is showing now. So, and then it extended to that other building there. You see in pictures. And we have underneath these buildings, you have container shops, you have makeshift structures. From that end where you see the mosque there, from that place you have another building that was engulfed, and there are all these areas, all this place we are standing right now, all of them are occupied by container shops. So the fire also ignited at the container shops, then it's continued to spread, then spread to this side of the area or the section of the market, and then went into this building. And then because we spoke to that guy who said because there were some explosions and some inflammables in that shop, that's why you saw that it has gone through that area. So it is so devastating.
Interesting.
And to answer your question about whether or not the officers were overwhelmed, I would say they were not overwhelmed, but the access was a major issue. they were not getting the access, even though we had about 5 fire tenders, including the turntable ladder they were using.
Talking about
the access was not there.
Talking about the access point you just raised, right? I'm seeing a story here on citynews.com with the Member of Parliament, Kofi Obriyeboah, you know, talking about the poor urban planning and politics. According to him, the poor urban planning of the area Adum, of which he's Member of Parliament for, and politics are to blame for the fires we've seen here. Is it really the case that the area is poorly planned out? And also, when he talks about politics, you don't speak for the Member of Parliament, obviously, but have there been cause to be concerned about the politics at play, which is then now affecting the traders and their goods in the market?
So yes, so when we spoke to the regional director for NADMO, he reiterated this point. He says that, so whenever there's fire within the central business district or within the central market, part of their recommendations they give to the city authorities, the regional security council, and the metro security council. What they tell them is that they will have to clear people on the pavement, people trading on the pavement who are creating the congestion in the city. But on a second thought, what he say is that, like, he was attributing the issue also to politics, that people, when the city authorities go to remove these people from the pavement, they threaten them with votes. They tell them that they are those who voted them into power, and because the economy is not so in good shape, that is where they also get their daily bread from. And that's, if they take them off that area or the pavement, where are they going to get their daily bread from? So that is the point about politics. People try to politicize everything. That is why you don't see any mayor who is coming into the Kumasi or who is coming to head Kumasi is not able to do an effective decongestion exercise. That mayor is not able to do. Even if there's a decongestion exercise, after a week, traders are back to yes, they are back, and it's usually a 9-day wonder. And the commuters who use some of these pavements as passage areas are not always happy. Sometimes the overcrowding in the city is so much unbearable. And usually in times of emergencies like this one, people are not able to, fire service or even the emergency service providers are not able to have their free way to do their work. And that is the issue about this thing. The politics and the congestion here. You
know, and you see, a lot of the things Hafiz is saying about the Adum fires, right? You can say same for the Katamanto fire and all the other fires you've seen in marketplaces. For me, it's just unfortunate. It's sad. You know, the concerns about urban planning. You go to all of the assemblies, you see architects there, you see building planners there, and you wonder how year on year you are able to really, you know, make good use of their what they bring onto the table in terms of bringing sanity into our public spaces. And this is the problem.
So, Mr. Duncan, even the NADMO officer was telling me that with this incident, we are still going back to the same old story.
Exactly.
Right.
Business
people
as usual.
Will come and give assurances.
Yeah.
Business as usual. That was his concern.
Yeah.
People will come and give assurances.
And the government wouldn't want to buy
recommendations.
Yeah.
Hafiz.
People will give recommendations, but those who would implement the recommendations are people who are not having that political will to implement it to the latter.
Hafiz, you're tired. You also need.
Hafiz is also tired. He needs some rest. Hafiz, talk to us about the quality
technical people
of the air this morning in that enclave.
Very bad, very bad. You know, it's a mixture of dust and smoke. Yesterday, because this place was excavated, and the smoke is still billowing from some of the shops, and then you are seeing that the dust has mixed with the smoke, and it's just unbearable here.
That's very unfortunate. Very, very
We
unfortunate.
are trying to locate the NADMO, because yesterday we were told they were coming here this morning to carry out some assessment as part of their investigations. Yesterday we were told they were coming to carry out some assessment.
I think they passed by in one of the shots, but I see people are, up there in the building. I'm assuming
these are scrap dealers.
Okay.
These are scrap dealers.
Right.
Yeah, these are scrap dealers. These are scrap dealers. So usually, when there's fire, they also take advantage of the situation to scavenge for scrap metal to be able to do their business. So yesterday, when the incident happened, they were here, but they couldn't access this area. But this morning, they're having that free way of accessing this area to be able to get some scrap metal to be able to do their business also.
So I'm assuming it's safe for them to be there if the police or the fire service are not driving them away?
Well, for now, most of the fire service officials are concentrating on
dealing with the
dousing
pockets of fire. Okay.
Yeah, dealing with the pockets of fire, and the concentration is not here. But most of the buildings, or all the buildings, I would say, that have been affected by the fire, I would say these buildings, their structural integrity test not so in good shape because of the intensity of the fire and the heat and all that. So one of the shops here, I think this shop has not been burnt, and the owner has just come here, try to remove some of the items from the shop here.
It's a field day.
Wow. We hope that they're able to prevent, anybody from going in there to loot, and also which would now also create another
these
problem.
These are the shop owners.
Yeah,
no, these
but
are the shop owners.
yeah, my concern is that is it even safe for them to enter into a building which has been partially, affected by fire? The structural integrity of the building. Some of these structures can come down anytime, right? And it will be moving from one disaster into another, God forbid, should the worst happen. So I don't really know what the first respondents are doing in terms of safeguarding the area, but I don't think it is safe for people entering buildings that have been partially razed down by fire. Anything could happen. The buildings have lost some structural integrity, and I don't know. But, this is sad. Like the guy said.
Exactly so. But this place has even been cordoned off, and you see police officers standing by. But most of the people you see in here, in the cordoned off area, they are shop owners and the affected traders. So for people who are behind that area, police people are on guard. They are not allowing them in here. So they are not allowed to come, but only for the people whose shop have been affected. So you see the phase 2 of the KJTR market.
Yeah.
So part of the barricade was also affected, just moving through there, and that could tell you the nature of the fire. I think for people like Eno, who know Kumasi very well,
she's a
so when you
Kumasi
are coming
princess
from this area, you are heading to the Roman Hill area.
Yes.
You are heading to the Roman Hill area, and from the Roman Hill area to the central market. Is an issue of congestion. Traders taking over the pavement, taking over the road to ply their activities and all that. And these are the concerns about access. The emergency service providers not able to locate or able to move freely to be able to carry out their duties when this incident is happening. So, Mr. Duncan, I've come to the frontage of this building. So this is the frontage of that. So at the other side, where we came from, where the guy was talking about what they have in terms of the
goods.
In terms of the goods. So this side of this building too has shops, a number of shops and warehouses, and at this or on this street in front of the building, this is where you have people who have occupied the pavement and the streets to trade. You see tubers of yam, they sell
onions,
all sorts of foodstuffs,
tomatoes, all sorts of
and
things.
all that.
Yes.
So, luckily for me, I've just met the regional fire command. PRO.
Great. Let's have
Maybe
a conversation.
in future you'll be a commander. Say amen to that.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, so today we are back a day after the incident. What is happening?
So if you can see from the ground, we've been able to create access as of last night to be able to access the black light area where there are a few pockets of fire, and that's what we are trying to extinguish. So efforts are underway to extinguish those pockets of fire within the black market area. Unfortunately, yesterday we couldn't get access during the daytime to be able to extinguish those ones, but in the night we had excavators clear the area for us to get access to be able to extinguish them. So that is what we are trying to do this morning.
I know your men are exhausted, but what is the morale you are giving them to urge them on to see to the bottom of this incident?
Even though they are exhausted, they know that until the fire goes out, we have to still maintain high morale to be able to extinguish every fire here. We also have made arrangements for men to come around and change them. So that is what the commander has put in place. As we speak, the chief fire officer is still in the area. Yesterday she came around to have first-hand information of whatever is going on here, and to also encourage the men to be able to do more to ensure that the fire is out totally. So even though they are exhausted, their morale is still high, and they will put out every fire here before, I'm sure, this morning.
Okay, so yesterday the engines were coming in and out. You had some hydrants here. What was the challenge with water?
You know, on Monday, I think the Ghana Water Company had to work on some of their lines, so there wasn't water in the area. They were able to finish by Wednesday, but still we had the hydrants around were dry. So when the fire occurred, we couldn't get water from the hydrants. We had to make arrangements with the contractor putting up the second phase of the KGTR phase 2 to make available tankers to be able to supply us with water. Then around the phase 1 project, KGTR, there are hydrants around it. We had to extend some of our hoses to those hydrants to be able to pick water from the place. That hydrant takes its water from the reserve tank in the KGTR market, the tank that has been reserved for firefighting. So that is where we're able to get water from to be able to fight this protracted fire. We engaged the Ghana Water Company. I personally had to call their PRO to tell them to fix the problem so that we can get water. So we had some issues with water. It was a challenge, but this is how we were able to resolve it, to get constant water to fight the fire.
But in the night, was there that challenge? Did that challenge intensify?
It didn't. You see, because of the nature of the spread of fire and where the fire had affected, we had to stage or position our tenders at vantage points so that we could fight the fire. In the evening around 10 p.m., we had the tenders were not moving out. In fact, the tankers were moving out to get us water.
The drip.
Yes, to get us water to be able to fight the fires. And like I told you, there was this excavator that had to clear and give us access. So we were waiting for the excavator to give us access so that together we can move in with the tankers and fight the fire within the Blue Market enclave. So that was the issue. We hadn't run out of water because the tankers were filled with water at the time. And we only needed the place, the access to be created so that we could move in and fight the fire with them. So that was the issue. We because the tankers were available and there was water in it, we hadn't run out of water.
Okay, so let's look at these buildings that have been affected. Are they safe?
I wouldn't say they are safe. But we need a technical person to do the maybe structural integrity to declare whether they are safe or not. But physical looks tells that they are not safe. In fact, they've been affected by the fire, and you can even hear still explosions within the facility. So for now, they are not safe. I would advise people to keep off the buildings because if they can collapse. Yes, if they are weak, they can collapse. But we need a technical person to look at it.
But what will be your assurance to traders and residents of Kumasi as fire service?
For us, we are here to serve. We are ready to serve, ever ready to serve. Whenever they call on us, we will move in quickly to come and serve. At this point, I mean, all of us know that we have these logistical challenges. We've escalated it. Our management is engaging the government to be able to get us more tenders. The ones we have in the system are old, and it will be good for us to get fresh ones to be able to help us do our work and do it well. So whatever we have now, we are using it to serve the people, and we'll encourage them to support us. I also want to advise the traders that, mostly when there's fire like this, the next thing is to clear the area, then they'll start erecting. I advise that they should take their time. Let the technical people come in and put in place the right structures that will ensure that if there's any future fire, it won't be as devastating as this one. It can be quickly handled, and the disaster or the destruction will be minimal. So they should allow the authorities to come in to put in the right structures that will be safe and for them, safe and secure for them to use.
Yeah, Eno and Mr. Duncan, I don't know if you have any question for DO2 Peter there, the Ashanti Regional Command. I keep saying commander, public relations officer for the Ghana National Fire Service.
Yeah, I would want to even first off start off by saying, thank you to him and his team, for acting so bravely. But I wanted him to just speak on that video again we saw from the Ashanti Regional Minister, where he was seen berating some of his boys for the lackadaisical attitude in the posturing of the minister, towards his men, saying that they were just sitting there. If you could clarify for us what really happened and whether or not it was the case that the water in the trucks were done. For which reason the fire service, respondents, they didn't have much to do and were only sitting while in our wait time while the fire was still ravaging the stores of traders.
Okay, so he's commending you and want to find out if yesterday's incident with the regional minister not happy with some of your men not able to bring in the water with the tender like you explained, whether that's even brought down the spirit of your men, and what do you have to say about that as a command?
Around that time, the regional commander was around, and I'm sure they had some engagement with them. The regional commander also spoke with the men, and the firemen understand professionally, technically, what was going on. So this didn't, it didn't bring their spirit down. We, even after the issues, we still stayed on the ground and ensured that the fires that were raging were handled. So this one, even though will affect morale a little bit, the regional commander encouraged his men to still move on and do the work. So they are, as we speak, they are currently here. We are currently here and we are doing the work. So I don't want to move into the issues, but I want to say that we are here and we are working. Morale is still high.
Habis, can you also,
yes, Mr. Duncan.
Can you also
yes.
find out for us, in his estimation, considering the circumstances, and is it traders I see still selling yam and stuff around?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So these are those who occupy the pavements and the streets.
I want you to find out for us, in his estimation, how long it will take for all of this to be brought to a complete, end, right? How long will it take for the fire service, under the circumstances, to bring the fire down completely, so maybe evacuation and other things can begin?
So for now, are you able to tell us how long it will take to deal with the pockets of fire?
I'm sure by late morning we should be able to finish with the pockets of fire. Because as it were, just a few areas that have these pockets of fire, and we are putting all the tenders to those areas to ensure that those fires are also out. So I'm sure by late morning it should be out.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
Just to advise the people generally that fire service is here to serve them. What we need is their support to be able to serve them. In times like this, people say a whole lot of things. People are saying that we had to concentrate all our effort to ensure that one particular building is safe. Meanwhile, that wasn't.
Yeah, so these were the allegations, some of the traders. So you'll be in the right position to clear that the building belonging to Kwame Despite was being protected because of his affluence or maybe his influence.
I'm sure you were on the ground you've been on the ground from morning, and you saw where we had positioned all the tenders. And you can attest to the fact that they were not at one particular place. They had been staged at various vantage positions to be able to fight the fire. The Despite building is at the opposite end of where we stand. We had positioned our turntable ladder here, which is very far from the Despite building. We had another tender here by the Roman Hill.
Around the Roman
Hill area. We had one tender just by where the roundabout is. Then there was another tender at where the ECG substation is. And all those places are away from the Despite building. And those places were advantage for us because that's where we could get access to where the fire was to be able to fight it effectively. So we did not concentrate all our efforts to protect. In fact, everybody here, we came here to ensure that the fire is out so that everybody here will be safe. So we did not concentrate our effort to save that particular building. And if you can see, that is not the only building that we were able to salvage. There are other buildings that we were able to salvage, other buildings, other floors that we were able to salvage. So that assertion is not true, and I want to say it here that it is false. We came here to protect everybody.
All right, so that's DO2 Peter there. He's the Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service. He has been here since yesterday in the morning, throughout the afternoon, throughout the evening, throughout the night, trying to ensure that all the right things are done, trying to ensure that properties, lives are protected here at the Central Business District and part of the Central Market that have been ravaged by fire. He's here with his men. He says that the morale has not been dampened. Their men are very resolute, and they are so ready to ensure that they are able to bring the situation under control. So we'll continue our journey from here. Thank you very much, sir, after speaking with him. So you see, people are now, for those of the traders who are selling on the pavement and on the street, they were also affected. So you see burnt tubers of yam, onions, and other foodstuffs.
Is it Hafiz?
For the ones you see here,
Let's be clear. Is it that they are trying to salvage their remaining wear, or it's that they are back on the street selling?
No, they are trying to salvage. So let me engage with this woman here.
Very briefly for us, Hafiz.
No, I don't know in our infant.
You say eba untimi mo nwa mu nkoyi untimi nyehwe bibia no wa betimi aye ti etna wa ma de besisi
na na pa mu ye den
anopa de ejejeje yisika wo store ho num ti eba be yi
na bayan su mu ye ne den
bayan se bia hwinti etam bia kofie de enhye no
feel saying
efie
All right, so that's one of the affected traders here. She says that they have come to salvage what has been left of the burnt tubers of yam and the other goods they have here. So shop owners are still coming here.
Right.
To see at this shop, trying to open and see what is there.
Situation and whether they can salvage anything. Hafiz, thank you so much for that in-depth, commentary on the Adum fire in the Ashanti region, Kumasi to be specific. Keep on that beat for us, and I'm sure we'll update our viewers and our listeners on 97.3 City FM as and when. Thank you so much, Hafiz.
Thank you, Eno. Thank you to Mr. Duncan.
All right. I don't even know what to say, but we'll be right back. Don't go away.